Hello everyone, welcome back to another session by K21 Academy. Today our expert trainer will give you a holistic overview so that you can perform well in your examination for AWS Solution Architect. So let's get into the video.
So first of all, let us discuss about the content of the exam. All the information that I have carried on my slides are from the AWS official website. So these particular information that I'm sharing you is the information which is already there on the website of AWS. You can refer it from there also. But then we will be helping you out to understand what is written on the website. So you'll be getting two types of questions in your exam. One will be the multiple choice question. That means there will be one correct response to the given option. So you'll be having four options, five options, sometimes four, sometimes five options will be there. And out of those four and five options, there will be one correct option will be there that you need to select. And then we may have questions where you need to select multiple responses. So sometimes there will be questions, select two, select three out of the below. So make sure that while reading the answer, you are reading it properly till to the end. Even if you know the answer, read it carefully, because sometimes what happens, they twist the question a little bit. You all are aware that there are, some questions, probably you may get a question which is already there on the website, the questions that we have shared, 120 questions that we have shared. Sometimes you may face that similar kind of question is there in the exam also. It may happen, but at that time also read the question carefully, because probably the question which is given on the ppt or on the slide that we have given you, and the question which is in the exam may have some language difference which will entirely change the meaning and the requirement of the question. So always read the question carefully with patience, and then only select the answers which are given below. Questions will not be very tricky. You just have to make sure that you are providing the right applying the right kind of knowledge of you that you are already having. Okay, so the multiple exam questions, multiple choice questions will also be there. That means you need to select multiple options from the given ones. However, there are generally possible responses that will fit into the content area defined by the test objective. So whatever questions will be there, they will be from the content that we have studied. Make sure that you attempt all the questions. Even if you don't know the answer of the question, you are not sure about the question's answer, make sure you attempt it. Try to apply the knowledge that you are having, as there is no penalty. That means no negative marking is there. So if you are applying some concepts, or you are applying some knowledge that you are thinking that probably this could be the answer, and maybe that can go right. Okay, so there is no penalty on the guessing. So do not leave any question unanswered, because if you do not mark it, it will be marked as incorrect, and that will be reflected in your exam sheet, the result sheet that you will be getting. Okay, so make sure that you are attempting all the questions that are there in the paper. So all the questions, you'll get enough time to attempt them. It's no calculation that you have to do. There is no configuration that you have to do. You do not have to create any devices or infrastructure resources on the cloud, so it won't consume much time. It is just that you have to read the question carefully, and then proceed on to it. The exam will have these four domains. So if you see the name of the domains, they are actually the well architect framework pillars: resilient, high performance, secure, and cost optimized architecture. Okay, so these are the four. Actually in high performance, it is covering actually two pillars. So it is actually the five pillars that we discussed yesterday. So these are the five domains from which you will get your exam. So the four domains are designed like designing a resilient architecture, designing a high performing architecture, how to secure your application and your architecture, and then design cost optimized architecture. So these are the four domains which will be covered, from where actually you'll be getting the questions in your exam. If you see, there is more weightage for resilient and high performing architecture. So if you see, the maximum weightage that we are seeing is for the first domain, that is designing the resilient architectures, that means the reliable architecture, there is 30% weightage on that. And then the high performance architectures, after that, for cost it is only 18% weightage that has been given. So you have to focus more on other pillars like securing, high performance optimized, resilient architecture, that is highly available architecture, that is where you have to focus more on. Design, if you talk about design a resilient architecture, it means that you need to design a multi-tier architecture solution, design highly available and fault tolerant solution. So you have to think about that, like yesterday I have told you, selecting the region, right? Selecting the availability zone, keeping in mind about the placement groups that we have studied, because placement groups also provides you fault tolerant architectures, remember? We have studied about them. If not, make a point of it and go through these particular topics that I'm talking about. Okay. Decoupling mechanisms using the AWS services, choose appropriate resilient storage also, as we have got lot of storage options available in Amazon. Which storage option will be right suitable for you? If it has to be very low latency, so then you have to go for instant store. If you want to have lesser than the instant storage, the next level that you have is your EBS. Then you have your S3 buckets. If you want to do caching, we have studied about the caching also, Redis and Elastic Cache for the databases. So make sure that you are making use of all the, keeping in mind, you are keeping in mind whatever are the technologies that we have studied. You should be aware about all of them when you are into your exam. You should be having all of them in your mind, that which particular feature of AWS that we have studied belongs to which particular pillar of well architected framework. You should remember that particular thing where you can fit into. Okay. So this is what you need to specifically take care when you are designing a high performing architecture. So you need to identify that your infrastructure is elastic, scalable. So whatever compute resources you are selecting, they should be scalable and elastic in nature. Select high performing and scalable storage, not only the compute. Think about the storage solution also. So how you can make it high performing and scalable? High performing and scalable networking solution. So think about the elastic IPs, think about the ENI. We have studied about the ENI, na? Think about that. Think about using the load balancer. Think about, see, you have to also choose the high performing database solution. And whenever there is a high performing database solution, the answer will always, you'll be able to find the answer into RDS and DynamoDB, because Amazon is, focusing more on the managed database solution provided by Amazon. So whatever managed solutions are being provided by Amazon, they will be mostly the answer of the questions. Like Elastic Cache services, you will not get questions related to that chef puppet servers that we have studied. Now that is not part of the syllabus actually. For the knowledge purpose we have grabbed it, it is fine. But then for exam point of view, you don't have to worry about that. You have to worry about the the topics that we have studied previously. You can think about the VPNs, you can think about the ENI solution. And always remember and keep in mind that whatever are the managed solution, whether it is a managed queue solution, SNS notifications, load balancers, autoscalers, RDS, DynamoDB, Elastic Cache, try to relate the answer according to that. Because usually what I have seen, like I have given this exam thrice. Okay, because first I gave it for solution architect associate, then I gave it for solution architect professional, and then I renewed it. So these are the 3 attempts I have given. So I have seen that at most of the cases, the managed services of AWS are more in specific in the answer section. So keep in mind that. So that is a, you can when you are actually not knowing the answer to the question, then you can make that hint into consideration, that if you find something which is there as a managed solution into the list and you are able to relate it to the question, go and mark it out. Okay, so you have to think about the third domain that Amazon is giving you. So domain, the third this thing that you need to consider is secure applications. The applications that you are creating, the solutions that you are creating should be secure solutions that you are creating. Now when we talk about secure, what comes into your mind? It should be the security groups, it should be the shield, it should be the guard, it should be the network ACL, NACL. Okay, what else? You can have inspector. What else? IAM, policies. Okay, yes, WAF. So you have to, like, as soon as security comes into mind, what should be the possible options? Database comes into mind, what should be the possible options? Resiliency comes in mind, what should be the possible key services? So that should be there in your mind. So as soon as you read the question, you'll be able to identify from which pillar this question belongs to, and in that pillar what are the key services. The slides that we were seeing yesterday, in that you were able to see the, this thing over there, that how many what key services are there for each particular pillar, it was there. So you have to make sure that you keep that particular thing in mind while you are working on your questions, reading your questions, understanding them. Read it very carefully. When it comes to cost optimization, selection of the right region, selection of the right type of the machine, then about the purchase options, on demand option, spot option, scheduled instances, reserved instances, keep that in mind. And then Amazon always say that the managed services are more cost optimized solutions. So you have to keep that in mind, that if he is talking about the cost optimized solution, according to Amazon, all the managed services are more cost optimized as compared to the normal solutions which are there. So you have to make sure that you think from that perspective also when you are opting for the question. So these are the four domains from which the questions may come. So you have to think about how you can make a cost optimized solution in storage. So when we talk about storage, we can have life cycle rules created for the storage. You remember the three in S3 we were having various type of storage class: standard storage class, infrequent storage class, and then glaciers, deep glaciers, one zone. So there were multiple storage classes available, and we were in a position to create the life cycle rule to transition the object that I have stored into standard storage. After some time, that object can get transitioned to glacier. After some time, it can get transitioned to deep glacier, and after some time, it can be deleted from the memory also. So expiry date can also be considered. Apart from this storage solution, if you talk about another cost effective, when we were studying about EFS, yes, we have seen EFS, infrequent access. So that migration was also there. We have seen that we can make the object move to infrequent access after some time. In the storage solution, in the EBS also, we were having various options available for the storage selection. If I need whatever kind of solution I need, do I need a input output optimized solution? Do I need a throughput optimized drive? So you select accordingly so that you can save cost on that particular front. If you don't need an input output optimized drive, don't select it. You can use, to save the compute, the kind of the type of resource, the type of instances that can be launched. You can have an option of selecting upfront payment, that is no upfront, partial upfront. You remember we have seen all that, partial upfront. So keep that in mind: partial upfront, full upfront, scheduled instances. Keep that all things in mind: scheduled instances, reserved instances. Make use of lambda functions. to save the compute power, because when you are using serverless computing, in computing, when you are using serverless computing, you are saving cost actually, right? So wherever possible, you can opt for the serverless computing. Whenever it comes to the databases for cost effective solution, the hint that I have given, think about the managed services, managed DB solutions by Amazon. Cost optimized network architecture. So here VPC, VPN will come into picture, ENI, elastic IPs, NAT gateways will come into picture. So by looking at the keywords, you should think about the services which are there. It should come in your mind. Okay, they are talking about compute, cost effectiveness. That means probably this will be the answer that will be there. So in this way, you have to program your mind, and that is only possible, guys. Listening to the lecture once with me won't make it happen. You have to listen it again with, when you are preparing for the exam. Go practice all the labs that we have given. We have like what I have done, what you have done. Please do the labs that I have done in the sessions that I was teaching you, the labs which are there on the portal. There are some extra labs also on the portal. We are not able to cover all the labs in the sessions that we are conducting over here. So small videos are there for the labs, and many such other labs are also there. Make sure that you are completing all the lab sessions which are there in your portal. So when you are completing the labs actually, so at that time what happens, the type of service which you are practicing, it gets printed in your mind that this service is there. Just reading the service, it is a psychological fact of human nature that if you perform something by yourself, it will be there in your memory for a longer period of time. I'll give you an example. If you if you drive to a location by yourself, you will never forget that road. But if you will sit on the back seat or on the side seat of the car, you will never be able to remember the path through which we went to the destination. It's the fact. I realized it when I learned driving. Earlier, I used to sit with my husband, and my focus was always on, okay, this is a good shop for purchasing the dresses. Oh my God, there we can get jewelry. Oh, this is a shop for purchasing the other items. I was never focusing on the road because my mind was always on something else. But when I started driving by myself, at that time I was not having any chance to focus on anything else apart from the path on which I am going. So then I started remembering the paths. I was able to go to the locations without his guidance. So this is what you have to understand. This is the basic fact, guys. If you watch the recipe of any chef 100 times, you won't be able to cook it properly. And you cook it once, you'll be able to remember it for a longer period of time. And so as it goes with the studies also, if you go through my lectures 10 times, it won't help you unless and until you do the practical by yourself. You'll make the mistake. Sometimes we makes the mistake also. But then I say, like, I have an experience of being a teacher. Like, I am working as a professional also into the industry, but then being a teacher, I have an experience of almost around 21 years. So when I passed out my class 12th, I went to NIIT. There is an institute for computer training, and by God's grace, I was like bit better than the rest of my batchmates. And then I was given an opportunity to work as a teacher, or you can say lab attendant in NIIT itself. So right from where I passed my 12th class, after 6 months I am doing a job, and that was a job of a teacher. So if I count my experience in that way, it is around 21 25 years of experience I am having. So then I did my teaching for 1.5 years in NIIT. Then I did it in Manipal Academy of Higher Education, where when I was doing my BCA, I was teaching the students of BE. And in fact, few students were there who are 40 45 years old, and I was teaching them languages like Java, C++. I was teaching them those languages at that time. In exam, you have to focus on the keywords that are there in the exam, in the questions. So focus on the keywords that I'm circling. That's why I'm circling it over here. So when it is storage, when it is compute, when it is database, cost effective, cost optimized. So you have to think about that keywords that you are getting. So we have got these four domains: resilient architecture, high performing architecture, secure application and architecture, and design and cost optimized solution. Okay.
So, guys, this was our expert from Team K21 Academy. And if in case you missed upon any concept or if you want to dive deeper into the concepts, then we have something really special for you. We have our free class on Amazon AWS Solution Architect Certification for Beginners. Under this free class, you'll be learning about why and who should learn AWS, cloud services, deployment models, and AWS services as well. And the most important part is you'll be getting hands-on labs, job opportunities, along with Docker and Kubernetes in AWS, and amazing, amazing stuff. So if you want to register for this free class, all you have to do is just log on to your browser and type k21academy.com/AWSSA02. And after that, you'll be seeing this kind of interface. You just have to click on book your free seat now, select your event date, add your name, your email address, your phone number, and click on yes, save my seat. And after that, you'll be seeing this kind of page. You just have to save this link on the extreme right, add it to your calendars, and I'll see you in the free class. Till then, keep learning.